So far so good. I actually made it back for day 2. So grab your horn and let's get into it. Hi, Brian from Airflow Music here. Welcome back. This is day 2 of our new Go Practice Daily series for March 2022. And in actual fact, I've only just finished uploading day 1 as I'm recording this, so there's no feedback from you guys yet. But I trust that you enjoyed yesterday's video and that you're digging on the exercise. If you missed it and this is the first one of these you've seen, I'll link yesterday's video down below so you can go check it out and see what we're up to. As I said, we're going to keep the same exercise for a few days at a time, or the same pair of exercises actually. So we're still doing set 1 today. This is the second day of set 1. And so we're going to get into it. The rules remain the same. Exercise 1 is our stability exercise. Exercise 2 is our motion exercise. We're going at 60 beats a minute for exercise 1. We're generally following Caruso rules, which means we're really trying to closely play in time. That means we're going to play with a metronome, tap our foot on the beat, mentally subdivide into 16th notes or semiquavers. So we keep the beat nice and even and really try to play closely in time. The optional part of this, because the whole expanding series, has 26 notes in it altogether. It's a little long. If you're experienced with long setting exercises, and that's something you've practiced a lot, join me, this is what I'm doing, in playing this long setting. If you're not, what I suggest you do is gradually build up to it. Try the first few keys long setting and then allow yourself to reset. As you move along, count how many you can do today, add some more tomorrow. Okay? And the thing I didn't make really clear up front before exercise 1 yesterday, there's nothing super high in this, but if you're a less experienced player and you're not as comfortable with the range ups to the top of the staff yet, that's absolutely fine. If those notes become a struggle, they'll get easier if we practice them every day. But if they're a struggle right now, as you get up to the top of the staff there, then leave those ones out. Rest for those as I play them, and then join me on the low ones. Okay? That way we can gradually build. And the whole point of this is to set ourselves up nicely and not hurt ourselves. So please don't force anything. Please don't try and kind of battle your way through it and hurt your lips. Okay? That's not what we're trying to do here. Anyway, I was trying to keep this short, but I guess I failed as usual. Let's get into exercise 1. Okay, there's my run through exercise 1 for today. And overall, I feel like it went better than it did yesterday. That's really to be expected, given that I didn't mess up the pattern and have to do it twice straight through. But other than that, for the most part, things were speaking pretty well. I felt reasonably okay about my timing, although I'm sure I'll possibly not feel so good about it when I look back at the recording. But I'm just trying to play in time. The one thing that was not so good, when I got to the low B, that really didn't speak quickly at all. But I kind of slipped in my setting a little bit, so something to keep working on. It's the point of doing these things, isn't it? Get to work on stuff and get better. The one thing I don't think I've mentioned up to this point, for this one in particular, and if you're doing long setting, if water accumulates in the horn, obviously you've got to let it go. You've got to use your water key. Keep your chops in place while you do it. That's what I've been doing the couple of times that's needed to happen, as you've been watching these for the past 2 days. Okay? Other than that, yeah. It's nice to sit and do something quiet with the metronome. That's what I love most about doing things like this. Feeling much more centered in myself now, which is not to be underestimated. So, anyway, let's move on to the second exercise. Once again, we are doing half steps based on the same pattern of notes, the same expanding series. Eighth notes or quavers at 80 beats a minute, bar 1 slurred, bar 2 tongued, the whole notes, and then 2 bars rest. The thing I'm looking at for myself today is that I want to make sure I count the rest bars correctly. There was a couple times I only played 1 bar's rest in yesterday's, or weighted 1 bar's rest, I suppose, in yesterday's video. So I'm going to try and do a better job of that today. And I'm thinking that probably my response will be a little better since I didn't play it twice back to back already. Also, I know I'm making a little kind of, break in between these to recap and then talk about the next one. Do make sure to rest in between these 2 exercises. A long setting exercise like that is taxing for the muscles of the embouchure. So, give yourself a sensible amount of time to rest, 5 minutes or something. I've probably not got quite that long. I think I've been recording for about 3 minutes right here. But nonetheless, in order to get this out, I'm going to crack on with it. If you want to pause for a little while before you come back and play exercise 2, that's totally understandable, and I'm all about it. Okay? So, 80 beats a minute, 2 bar rests in between each pattern, and make sure to take the horn off of your chops for this one. We are not playing this one long setting. Okay? Let's get into exercise 2. 2. Okay, so there's exercise 2 in the books for today. Once again, I didn't feel too bad about it. There was a couple of notes that didn't speak really well, a couple of woolly articulations, particularly down in the low register. So that's something I'm going to keep an eye on, and that's something I need to work on as we progress with these exercises. But interestingly, actually, the main thing I noticed is something you wouldn't even probably notice, but it's not a chops thing, it's actually just a physical thing for picking the horn up and down with such regularity. After holding everything in one position for so long in exercise 1, picking up and down, I feel that a little in my back and my shoulders. So that's something I'm going to need to just check out and see if I'm sitting properly, or if I'm, leaning one way or another, perhaps because of the camera or something like that. Something I need to pay attention to. But how are you feeling about these? That's what we really want to know here. How are you liking these exercises? How are you feeling so far for playing them? Are you doing exercise 1 long setting or not? I am starting to already, after a couple of days, think of a couple of things I might like to edit in exercise 2 particularly, having played it a little bit more. But that's something we may address tomorrow or the day after. But other than that, I'm rather enjoying doing this. It's certainly calming to sit with the metronome and kind of, because the camera's on me, be forced to sit and not be distracted. So that's evidently something, when the camera isn't on me, that I need to do better with. Which is, again, something interesting for me to note. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button. It's always appreciated when you do. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please share this video with your friends. Maybe they'd like to join in and practice along with us. The plan is to be here every day for a few weeks. So I'm not saying strictly 30 days this time, maybe longer, maybe a little shorter, we'll see. But we're going to be here for a while. So let's keep moving forward with this. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you have any questions or comments about this, please write them down below as always, and I will read them and respond to you either in the comments or on tomorrow's video. So, as I say, have a great rest of your day, and in part at least, go practice.